Welcome to another episode of the Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast, where we offer actions and steps you can take today to start balancing your hormones naturally. This is your podcast host, Leah Brueggemann. I am a functional diagnostic nutritional practitioner. I am honored and excited to be your guide on your journey to better understanding your hormonal health and how it affects your everyday life. Hey guys, we're finally back. We're in a new room, so this one's carpeted, so you have to let me know how the audio is for you. We're in a new state, and I finally found my microphone. So the reason why we had such a delay, if you don't follow me on Instagram, which you should, but if you don't follow me on Instagram, we actually moved. So my husband recently graduated and with his doctorate in physical therapy, and he got a job in Michigan. So we were in Kentucky, but we have now moved to a colder state. I'm telling you, like, we should have just kept going farther down south because I used to live in Michigan and I remember the winters here and they suck. So I just really don't like the cold, but so when I was going to college, I just vividly remember walking across campus and it being like -11 below because of the wind chill. And I know that's nothing because I've had clients in Canada that are like, Leah, it's -30 here. I couldn't do that. I can't even do -11 below. I just don't go outside. So anyways, that is where we're at right now. That's kind of what's going on. But what I wanted to chat about today is actually self-care and how that can fit into life at a busy time and why it's very important to do this. And the reason why this sparked my brain into doing this is actually because I was listening to a podcast while I was driving, and they were talking about their self-care routine, and you guys, it sounded glamorous. I mean, it sounded glamorous. It was so long and luxurious, but I also had to chuckle at the same time because as much as that would be amazing, it's simply unrealistic as a mom. And that's okay. Like, that's what works for her. But I wanted to kind of talk about maybe how we can make self-care fit into a busier life or a life as a mom. And I only have one kiddo right now, you guys. I've had clients with 7. I think the most is 13, which is a lot of kiddos, right? And it can be hard to find time because we're constantly taking care of everyone else. So I wanted to give an analogy before I do this. And by self-care, guys, I don't necessarily mean bubble baths and pedicures and all of that. So I want you to imagine you are a cup and you are inside a bowl, a big bowl, okay? Now let's say you put a little water in the cup and then you take that water in the cup and you pour it in the bowl. And you keep doing that. Little water in the cup and then you take it and you pour it in the bowl. So like you're slowly filling up the bowl, but the cup keeps getting drained so fast, right? Because it's only getting a little bit and then you dump it right into the bowl. Now imagine you leave the cup inside the bowl and you pour water into the cup and just keep pouring and pouring and pouring until it's overflowing. And that way the cup is staying full, but it's spilling out and filling up the bowl. That's how I want you to think about self-care for yourself and how that spills over and touches everyone else in your life. I know that we always say you can't pour from an empty cup, but I just want you to literally think about that analogy because let's say you take 5 to 15 minutes for yourself every single day. Pardon me. And that has you showing up kinder, more patient, less stress, which in turn will give you more balanced hormones because you know that I am always talking about how stress and cortisol impacts your hormones. You guys, so many doctor's visits, like the percentage is insanely high of how many doctor's visits are actually rooted in chronic stress. Like that's what it can lead back to, like trace back to, sorry. So taking care and monitoring and taking care of your stress is so important. So I wanted to give you some strategies and kind of chat about this a little bit and share what I do, okay? So one of the first things that I do is actually make sure I get quality nutrition. That is self-care because quality nutrition is what fuels my body to not be hangry. So balanced blood sugar so I'm not hangry. Also fuels my body so that I can fuel my hormones, right? Fuels my body so I can show up with energy. I cannot tell you the amount of moms that I have worked with who eat their kids' leftovers from their meals. And I'm like, okay, well, no wonder your hormones are screwed up. No wonder you're hangry all the time. No wonder you feel like your mood swings are all over the place. You literally are not getting adequate nutrition. And they're like, well, I just don't have time to eat. I'm like, you have to make time to eat. Okay? So what that means that we have to ask husband to be like, hey, I need to make some food on the weekend and prep for the week, then we have to do that. Or someone else I talked to was like, oh, I just feel like I'm very bad at cooking. And I'm like, that is a lie that you are telling yourself because you can always get better, right? So what about every time you make food, you have an affirmation that you write on the fridge and that's what you tell yourself. You are getting better at making food. Your food is nourishing your body, whatever it is, right? Or maybe when you are chopping up something for the kids, like let's say you're making them a snack, can you peel a couple extra carrots and a couple extra cucumbers and have those in the fridge to grab as a snack with maybe some homemade hummus or something like that? I'm just literally throwing out ideas here. But I would say that quality nutrition is probably the best form of self-care that you could give yourself because fueling our body helps serve. And that doesn't mean you don't eat sweets. I'm not saying that like you can never have chocolate or cake because like, you're nourishing your body. Hey, there's nourishing your body and there's nourishing your soul, and they are both important. Chocolate nourishes your soul. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? So anyways, that's what I would recommend. Either batch cooking some stuff on the weekend if you need to when you have more help, or when you make a meal, can you triple it, double it, whatever it is. But I would literally sit down and figure out how you can make that work for you. And when I say sit down and figure it out, I seriously mean that with all the love in my heart. Because if we just hope that we find time to do it, it will never happen. Time doesn't just like poof appear. I wish it did. You have to plan that time, okay? So that would be number one. Second, I actually really focus on getting potassium and magnesium rich food in because stress depletes your potassium, okay? And magnesium is very good for anxiety and stress. So raw cacao, hey you guys, that's chocolate. Leafy greens, avocados, coconut water, banana, spinach, all of those are really good in magnesium and potassium. So I focus on getting those in throughout the day as well. Thirdly, what I would say is I actually take a magnesium potassium borax powder bath a couple times a week. And if I don't have time to actually sit down and take like a half an hour bath, I will literally, once the kids are in bed, put it in a foot soak while I work. Because that's important to me to get that in because I know that I'm constantly depleting those minerals and I need to get them up. Your skin is your largest organ you absorb through your skin. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing that. Okay. So I would start there. So those would be my top 3 things that I would do. Okay. And then lastly, I would tell you to find some way to manage your stress throughout the day to find self-care for you. So I will tell you what that looks like for me. That means 10 minutes in the morning before Landon wakes up, I do EFT tapping. So EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique tapping, and it's so good for helping your nervous system, anxiety, and it's incredible. I mean, The reason why I talk about it all the time is because I can't tell you the massive amount of clients that it's helped with like anxiety, panic attacks, all of the things. So what I do is it just literally helps regulate your nervous system to help your body handle stress better. So for me, even if Landon has a horrible night and he's up throughout the night, just doing that before I get him in the morning, even if like my entire morning routine that I would like to do, which I've talked about my morning routine before, you can go listen to that episode, goes to poop and I can't get it done because I slept in too late or whatever it is, I kid you not, you guys, EFT tapping, even if I can only do it for 3 minutes, just one session all the way through, makes such a difference in how I can handle my day. And for me, taking those 3 minutes makes such a difference on how I can show up as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife, all of these things. And every time I hear someone say, I don't have time for self-care, I want to remind you that self-care doesn't have to look like a day trip to the spa. Self-care can be dealing with your emotional baggage. Self-care can be going to therapy. Self-care can be talking to someone, like having a friend that you pencil time in to catch up with and talk on the phone every single week. Do you notice how I say pencil in and find that time? Because time does not appear. You have to schedule it in so that it becomes part of your routine, okay? Otherwise, trust me, you'll fill it with something else. That can be doing EFT tapping in the morning. Maybe that's journaling for you. Maybe that's having your coffee quietly by yourself. Whatever it is, I want to tell you that filling up your cup and taking care of you is not selfish. And I would argue that it is selfish to not do it because then you cannot show up 100% you, right? I think that the highest form of self-care that we can do, though, you guys, is take care of our health. It's just so important. Our health is so valuable, and that's why when I talk about self-care, nutrition goes to the top of the line. Because when I can take care of my nutrition and I can feel good, then I can find the time for everything else, right? So anyway, that's kind of how that works for me. And it's not perfect every day, but every day I try. And I get my husband involved in this and I tell him, hey, like, I've run out of food prep, or I need you to help with some cooking, or I need you to watch Landon, or whatever it is. Like, we're both the parents and we're both involved in that. And so I think we need to remember that, and we need to remember to just ask for some time. And that's okay, and that's not selfish, and it doesn't have to be an hour walk in the forest. It doesn't have to be a day trip to the spa. It can be if that's what you want to do and you have the time and you can do that. Please rock on with your bad self. But I don't want you to do nothing because you don't have an hour. 3 minutes of sitting quietly and doing EFT tapping, or doing breath work, or literally sitting in silence, or just sitting outside in the sun for 3 minutes by yourself quietly can do wonders, you guys. Do not underestimate the power of sitting in silence, okay? So I want to encourage you to do that because I think it's important. And I just think that self-care looks different for everybody. So I would love for you to shoot me a message on Instagram and share with me what your self-care looks like. Because I'm always looking for ideas and I love sharing ideas that I get from people. EFT tapping was not my concept. I was taught that and I've utilized it and shared it with all my clients because it's amazing and I love it. So anyways, if you have made it this far, I'm going to answer some questions that I've been getting. So number 1, the Hormone Reset program is not open. Like, we don't start another round until February. We do have limited spots for that though, and we have like 150 plus people, I think, on the wait list. So I will go ahead and probably open that up for you guys to sign up from the wait list so you can really secure your spot. so that you don't lose that. So if you're on the wait list, look out for that email this week. You'll be getting that. Which will be huge. And then secondly, everyone that's asking, if they can run labs and how you can work with me before February, the only way that you can work with me would be one-on-one coaching / group hybrid. And this is for people that want some like very high touch support, right? You get one-on-one coaching from me. You get a Dutch panel, which is a comprehensive hormone analysis, which we'll talk about more on an episode here about how that's amazing. You also get a hair mineral analysis, and a hair mineral, you need to balance your minerals to balance your hormones, and your mineral ratios are so important to how your body is absorbing and utilizing your hormones. So both of those tests are included. Like I said, you get one-on-one coaching, exclusive access to me for 4 months, plus group trainings as well as guest experts. So this is, if you're dealing with some more serious issues, or you really just want to work with me before February, or you just really want exclusive access for me to answer all your questions and hang out and basically like think about picking my brain for 4 months. And my goal is just to like teach you all the things so you can really have a personalized protocol for you, so you can have these tools to take into the rest of your life and to teach your kids. So I will drop the Google form for that, which includes pricing and all of the things. And if you're interested, please just put your Instagram handle down there. My call schedule is full. So I will reach out to you via your Instagram and we'll voice message back and forth about any questions you may have, any concerns. So applying obviously doesn't guarantee you a spot or anything, or sign you into a contract or anything like that, because I need to make sure that you're a good fit for the group, because obviously there will be people on the group trainings, and also I want to make sure that we would get along because we're going to be talking a lot. This is the most exclusive access people get to me. So you have Voxer voice text messaging support Monday through Friday for all 4 months, which is insane to have that, it's like having a practitioner in your back pocket. So I do want to make sure we're a good fit. And also, like, if you have sticker shock, that's totally fine. And just reach out and ask questions about it, okay? And make sure it's a good fit for you. This is for people that are just, they've been spending thousands of dollars on their health or thousands of dollars in time trying to figure out what's going on. And they're just like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm ready to just have a plan. That's what this is for. Anyways, I don't even know if you guys listen to the end of these podcasts. Do you listen to the end of these podcasts? If you do, like, tell me, because I would love to know. And if you have, please rate and review, because that helps the podcast show up for other people, and it's just amazing. I love it when people are like, hey, I was just searching for help and I found your podcast, and it's helped so much. That's why I make these, and I just love it, and I feel like I'm just chatting with you over here. So anyways, we're going to come back to our regular scheduled programming of episodes now that I moved and I found my microphone. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Balancing Hormones Naturally. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend and post it on your stories and tag Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast so we can get this message out. You can find me on Instagram at Leah_BRUEG, and I would absolutely love to hear from you.